How do you want to be remembered?
If I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
How do you want to be remembered?
If I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could?
That was Charlie Kirk. He left too soon. Well, he was forced to leave, quite frankly. This is an amazing young man who he dropped out of college. I mean, this is not something that I advocate for, but he did it. He did it successfully. He was very focused. He didn't drop out to be a homeless person with no future, to do drugs or any kind of thing. He dropped out to pursue a goal, an ideal, and he lived up to that ideal. That ideal being the fact that he fought for freedom of speech. So we would have the right to speak our minds, to say what's there without fear. Unfortunately, he paid the ultimate price. Do I think that they are going to catch the guy? I have my doubts, because I believe that we're facing something much bigger now, right now, guys. And this is something that nobody understands, because people are being conditioned right now to not to listen, not to talk to anybody, to see everybody as an enemy. It's actually quite disturbing if you think about it, that a man had to die in order for us to be shown the division that the world is involved in. And I firmly believe that what got him killed is that he had changed this narrative. And I'm going to show it to you right now. And please let me know what you think, because it's important that we engage in discourse and that we're able to talk very well.
I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot. So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government.
I know that we're going to see a lot of people talking about that the killer has been caught now, Tyler Robinson, because as that's developing as we speak right now. Tyler Robinson, named suspect in Charlie Kirk shooting, how he was caught. And we're going to go into this right now. Authorities have taken into custody the person they suspect of shooting and killing conservative activist Kirk on Wednesday at a Utah University campus event. Tyler Robinson, 22, was taken into custody in St. George, Utah on Friday, authorities said, and sources told ABC News. Robinson's father recognized him as a person being sought by police after authorities distributed photographs. Here's what we know about Robinson, how the shooting was carried out, and how he was caught. I don't know what to tell you guys. I have a hard feeling because I saw that there was a video of him running on the roof, on top of the roof, leaving. And yet he had no rifle with him. And they said that he ditched the rifle there. So let's get into this and see what the news is saying, so we can all read it here. Let me know what you also think about this. How this is the gentleman that's supposed to have killed, that's accused of killing or shooting. Well, killing. Okay. Robinson's father recognized him as the person being sought by police after authorities distributed photographs. Here's what we know. Okay. How Robinson was caught. President Donald Trump initially announced the arrest standing on Fox in France on Friday morning. I think with high degree of certainty we have him in custody. Authorities confirmed the news during a press conference on Friday morning with Utah Governor Spencer Cox stating in opening remarks, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, we got him." Cox said that after Robinson's father recognized his son in the distributed photographs, he told Robinson to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but later changed his mind, officials said. The father then called a youth pastor, who is also a U.S. Marshals Task Force officer. The officer advised the father to have Robinson stay in place. The information was then conveyed to the FBI. Cox thanked Robinson's family, who did the right thing. Okay, so during the press conference, Cox said that when the law enforcement identified Robinson, they also interviewed Robinson's roommate, who showed them a message between Robinson and his roommate. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact, Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, Cox said. The messages also referred to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. The rifle is an older model imported Mauser 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel, multiple law enforcement sources told ABC News. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. FBI Director Kash Patel said that law enforcement caught Robinson within 33 hours of the shooting and were on scene when the shooting occurred within 60 minutes. But they didn't catch him, did they? The guy turned himself in. They didn't catch him. He turned himself in. I hated that they're trying to say that he was caught. No, he wasn't caught. He turned himself in. This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation to provide them with the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, Patel said. How the shooting was carried out. Cox said on Friday, and I will show you the video of the guy running on the roof, and you tell me where the rifle is, because maybe it's my old eyes, but I don't see a rifle, and I'm not the only one, because apparently the internet is also asking that. Because I don't see a rifle, guys. I'm sorry, I don't see a rifle. Cox said on Friday the surveillance video footage from Utah Valley University, reviewed by investigators, showed Robinson arriving on campus at 8:29 a.m. on the morning of the shooting, driving a gray Dodge Challenger. Robinson was wearing a plain maroon t-shirt, light colored shorts, light colored shoes, and a black hat with a white logo, according to Cox. Officials stated that Robinson changed into dark clothing on campus after the shooting, changed back into the original clothes. Cox also described what was engraved on the casings found on the scene. Of the 3 on fire casings, one read, "Hey fascist, catch," with an arrow symbol pointing up, then to the right, and then 3 arrows pointing down. Another on fire casing read, "Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao." How? I mean, this is a bullet, guys. I mean, how? I'm surprised that he can write so much on it. Seemingly in reference to Italian anti-fascist song during World War II, and another on fire casing read, "If you read this, you are gay." LMAO. LMAO. Prior to being identified, authorities and a former FBI agent previously said they believed the subject to be a college-aged individual with an apparent proficiency in handling a high-power rifle, and likely knew the layout of the university where the homicide occurred. During a news conference on Thursday morning, Robert Bowles, a special agent in charge of the FBI Salt Lake City field office, said investigators believe they recovered the weapon used in what the governor of Utah on Wednesday called a political assassination. What we know about Robinson, what do we know about this guy? And I will show you the video, and I want you to please point and tell me where you can spot the rifle, because I can't, Elizabeth Basco said TMZ pay homeowners footage. Instead of civic duty, the owner of the footage chose money. First, the TMC's profiting is vile. Absolutely. Absolutely, Kathleen Davis. Sorry, but why are you apologizing, Kathleen Davis? I completely agree with you. This guy is absolutely vile. Whoever murdered, because those are the words, that is murder. He was murder. Whoever murdered him deserves the death penalty if proven that beyond any reasonable doubt who the person is. I don't think that there should be a trial. I just think that this person should be just sent to the gas chamber, electric chair, whatever, because I think that there has to be a deterrent at some point. The same thing that happened to Irina Zarutska, that black guy. Now, oh, he's got mental problems. Well, let's help him get rid of those mental problems, shall we? Yes, Nicoletta Sinchi, it's a communist song. Well, they said that Shivani Laurie Sheldon is asking a very good question. Maybe he dropped the rifle off the roof. No, because they said that they found their rifle in bushes. So, I will show you the video, Vicky. I will show you the video because I have the video. So I will show you the video of the alleged shooter getting off the roof. So let's just finish reading this. At the press conference, Cox said Robinson had become more political in recent years. Robinson mentioned during a dinner conversation with a family member that Kirk would be visiting Utah Valley University, according to Cox. Robinson and the family members discussed why they didn't like Kirk and his viewpoints, and the family member stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate, Cox said. Officials said Robinson was not enrolled at Utah Valley University and lived in Washington County, Utah, with his family. Robinson is currently enrolled at Dixie Technical College in Utah, a trade school where he was purportedly working toward becoming an electrician, according to two people who know Robinson but asked not to be identified. One of the individuals told ABC News that Robinson was not in class on the day of the Kirk shooting. Prior to Dixie, Robinson attended Pineview School. They give a little bit of background for this guy. A classmate who says they have known Robinson for years told ABC News they are stunned to hear Robinson may have carried out this attack, describing him as friendly but a little more reserved, adding that they never really heard him talk political. The classmate added that they never observed Robinson expressing any outward hate or malice towards other people. I never heard him talk politically, said the classmate, who emphasized that they were not close friends. I had never heard him talk about guns. Now, the manhunt for Robinson. I don't know if you would like me to show you the clip of the guy running, and you can tell me if you can spot, because I can't see it. Please keep in mind that this is clearly filmed from afar, and clearly my eyes may be off because I'm an older person and I don't have a very good vision at the moment. But even people on X are wondering where the rifle is, because they state that he dumped the rifle on the bushes after he shot Charlie. So I mean, do you want me to play the clip now, or so we can talk about it and you can tell me if you can see it or not? Because I can't see it. Okay. Let me show you here, and let's get into a discussion of this. Okay. So you can see it right here. Okay. It's right here. This is the video, guys. Okay. Look, he's supposed to be going here. You'll see him coming from the right-hand corner, or where you are, wherever you are.
Corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner.
I mean, I've looked over and over and over and over and I can't find it. So can you let me know if you can see it? Because I can't see it. Billy Graham, yeah. Oh, Vicky, thank you for that. Some are saying he dismantled it and put it in his backpack, but I don't think he had enough time because he looks like he's running. I mean, I'll put the video all there so you can see it and I'll play it, okay? So you can let me know what you think, if you think that because maybe that's why. Look at it.
He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt.
I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see the rifle. You're trying to get the hell out of there. You know, and Vicky's saying that's what I thought, and they're quite long. Even dismantled, it would have stuck out. Still, I absolutely agree. And there is no rifle there at all. So we have to be very careful because I'm sorry, but I'm not buying this narrative, guys. I am not buying it, and we're showing. I think that he would be like the third or fourth, maybe this guy, because they have his image. He decided to show himself up. So the manhunt for Robinson during a news conference on Thursday evening prior to identifying Robinson, state and federal officials released video of the person of interest jumping down from the roof of a building on the campus. Bo Mason, commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety, said the suspect was wearing distinct clothing that could help in his identification, including Converse sneakers. He said the person seen in the video jumping from the roof left shoe impressions and a palm print. You know, so, and I'm going to have Matt join me, Matt, the Angry Bootnik, join me for this live, guys. And we're going to get into this because this is fishy, to say the least. I am not buying this narrative. And Nicoletta Sinchi says, it seems he has a jumper in his hand. Yeah, he doesn't have the rifle. You know, and people are saying this is fishy. It is fishy, to say the least. I just think that people, you know, like something is not adding up here, because if you have a rifle, no matter, you don't have time to dismantle it, guys. You want to get the hell out of there because this is a high profile murder. You want to get the hell out of there. You're not going to pause and decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, you want to get the hell out of there. You know, and that's just my opinion, clearly, you know, but I could be wrong. I'm not saying that is not the case, but I don't see it happening. That's not what I see here. This guy does not have a rifle. And I mean, am I... Yeah, and people are saying on the chat, maybe it was handed to somebody else. I don't disagree with you. But what I'm saying to you is that this doesn't add up. Because he was alone. Nobody's talking about a second person. He was completely alone. You shoot, you get the hell out of there. And even if you dismantle that kind of rifle, guys, because, you know, I have a farm, and yeah, and it would stick out. It would still stick out. I just hope that they're not blaming somebody just for the sake of it, because it's quite disturbing what I'm seeing. It is incredible, you know, like, oh, hello, Matt.
Here
How
I
are
am.
you?
Sorry I'm late. I was at
No,
the
that's
dentist.
okay. That's okay. I'm going to show you something, Matt, because maybe your eyes can spot it better than I can. Okay. Because I can't see it. I really can't see this because they supposedly caught the shooter. Well, they didn't catch him. He handed himself in. Tyler Robinson.
I heard, yeah.
Okay. But watch the footage. This is supposed to be him running. Okay. But I've been looking at this the whole morning because listen to what they said, that he he dropped the rifle in the bushes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But watch this. This is the supposedly alleged footage of him running.
Come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far.
I mean, what do you make of this, Matt? Because he's now, and I mean, I've had, I'm not the only one questioning this. Everybody, a lot of people who know people who have more expertise clearly than I do tech-wise, have looked at it and he says he's not carrying a rifle. People say, oh, he dismantled it. Well, even if you dismantle it, it's still a big rifle. He's not carrying a rifle. He only has his jumper, you know?
I don't think you can tell by the footage what that... He leaves a bag or something, doesn't he? It's not just a jumper.
No, there was nothing left on scene. There was nothing left on scene. The rifle supposedly was found elsewhere, but there was nothing left on scene. And this is what they're claiming right now, Matt. This is supposed to be the guy, right? The manhunt for Robinson. During a news conference on Thursday, prior to identifying Robinson, it was his father who saw the picture and went, I know this guy, you know, that's my son. Yeah. So he asked for it to be done. He said that the person seen in the video jumping from the roof left shoe impressions and a palm print. Okay.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't look like him. Skinny little runt. Yeah.
Well, this is these are the pictures of him. That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Doesn't he look like a British singer? The one that sings "You're Beautiful"? You're beautiful. He
James
does.
Blunt.
Yeah, he does look.
James Blunt.
Yeah. But see, this is supposedly when they found their rifle in the bushes. That's supposed to be him.
Mm. Yeah. It does look like him. I don't know. I mean, he looks like he could be wearing a backpack or something there. You can't really see, can you? If he had a black day sack on there in that photo, he could be wearing it on his back.
Well, for those of you joining the channel, Matt is a Royal Marine, former Royal Marine. Can you tell me? Can you see? Because they said that the rifle was pretty big. It's an old style rifle, by the way.
Yeah, it was a 308 bolt action rifle. They're not that big either.
They're not?
Nah.
From what they showed, they said that it was big.
Nah, I mean, the modern assault rifles are heavy because they've got a lot of additional gear in there. They're not that big. It's a single rifle barrel and a bolt to reload each shot after you fire. He could have...
Look at this. Is supposed to where he was, Matt. Look at the position here. Isn't this absolutely insane?
I can't believe after all that's gone on that they didn't have like a drone up or something. Like his security be watching all them flat roofs. Like that's what I don't understand.
Let me download this picture so I can save it. So and we can enhance it because it's I gotta tell you it's very telling that people are. What do you make of all of this?
Super easy shot as well, and that's what I was saying. It didn't have to be a professional. I was like 200 yards in the prone position. You could make that shot if I took you to the range.
Yeah. No, I do shoot, you know, but clearly I'm not the best shot in the world, but I'm able to shoot from that distance, you know.
Easy.
But apparently he was wearing a vest.
You can tell when you look at him sat down, he's wearing a vest. You can see the plate carrier behind his white shirt.
Okay, so I'm going to share the picture, guys, so you can see it. So you can see it here, and we can make it look. This is the picture. This is where he was sitting.
Can't miss, can you? It's easy.
He was literally a sitting duck.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And this is why you get people being all conspiratorial. Like, it's too easy, that. I feel like if I was one of his security deal, I'd have twigged a kid with on a flat roof and thought, what's he doing up there? It just seems. I
But it's
mean,
amazing that he got him in the neck. He would have had to know that Charlie's wearing a vest because it was aimed at the neck, not the head. That is a hard shot because he's moving.
No, but it's a telescopic scope as well from 200 yards. If you're looking through a 4 times or a 8 times or a 12 times magnified scope, it's super easy. Maybe he was aiming for his head. I'd assume he went for his head. And then he hasn't accounted for windage and the differential between your scope, and he's hit him in the neck. He might have been aiming straight for his forehead and hit him in the neck. He's going to have probably been going for a headshot, hasn't he? That's what they always do. They went to shoot Trump in the head. No, you don't aim for the neck. Probably went for an headshot. Now, or maybe just above the plate carrier, and then it's moved to his neck or his head. Again, I don't see any foul play in the shooting. 200 yards in the pro position's easy. It's almost impossible to miss. It's easy. You notice when you do a lot of shooting.
Like that. I don't know if I would make the shot on the neck, but I probably would make the shot on the chest, which I would have aimed at,
Yeah, because what I'm saying, so let's say he was just aiming for his chest, it went up and right, or let's say he was aiming for his head, it could have went down. The other thing is, when you're at 200 yards, you have to adjust slightly for windage and curvature of the earth. So when you fire a rifle round, it's rising. Like I think for the first 100 meters, it goes up slightly, and then 200 it starts to dip, and then 300 it's usually where you zero your rifle to. So he probably just aimed. It basically just could have aimed for centre mass, and he's hit him in the neck. I mean, it's not difficult. The round's only going to go a couple of inches from where you're aiming at from that distance.
But there, people are saying that why didn't his bodyguards? Because look, this he was literally a sitting duck. Because even this other building here,
Yeah.
I mean, there were, or here on top here, like all these buildings. But I think he chose this one because this was easier. Further, it was close enough, but easier to get away with, because we saw how the shooter jumped.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, they're saying not to put anything down to malevolence, which could be explained by incompetence. So I'm not jumping straight on the conspiracy bandwagon there.
No, I'm not. No. I'm just wondering because I've been trying to see him running with something, but the rifle do you know? Do you have any pictures of that rifle? Because they described the rifle, Matt.
Not the actual. I can reel off a load of 308 rifles, and they're not that big. They can be quite lengthy.
That's what I mean. That it was a long rifle. So I don't think he would have time to dismantle that. You want to get the hell out of there. That's just my opinion, because this is a high profile murder. It's a Mauser 30-6 bolt action rifle.
I can Google it. Mauser 30-6
-06 caliber.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking at it there. It's a bog standard bolt action rifle. Yeah, it's not that big. Yeah, plus that footage is well far out. You could have one of those, they have those thin black day sacks that they use for carrying weapons in, specially made. They're quite figure hugging as well. You can just throw it on your back. You could have had it on. It looks like...
They said that they found it in the bushes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so when he's jumped off the roof, he could have had it on his back. It looks like he's got a bit of a cob on his back. He could be... That footage is far enough out where he could just have a small day sack on his back with a weapon in it, and then he's ditched it when he's ran off.
Oh, Debbie Campbell is saying that he had no body armor. That was debunked. So he didn't have any life vests. Any. I thought he did. He looked like he did, Debbie.
I think when you look at the image he had it on, you can see by looking. I can see a prominent plate. Behind his shirt when he's there. Definitely looks like it.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't matter. It's by the by now. Didn't hit him in the chest.
He didn't. Yeah, he didn't aim for the chest anyways. He aimed for the head. I was looking at Chase. He's one of the body language guys on the behavior panel, and he worked with the FBI and stuff like that. And he did a super interesting video, Matt, which is about that we are being trained not to be left against right, but instead for hatred. It's like for hatred. It is unbelievable. I really like this video, and I want to show it to you because I want your opinion, because I respect your opinion. By the way, this is Matt the Angry Bootnik, and I'm so honored that you did my first little channel today. This is Chase. Okay, you know who this guy is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk is dead, and it exposed something vile and horrifying that I want to share with you right now, just kind of candidly. He was murdered while he's speaking in public to a group of college kids. And there's one part of this that I think should horrify you to the deepest parts of your very soul. Instead of a universal outrage, instead of every decent person saying this is insane and this is wrong, the internet seemingly lit up with these celebrations and cheers and memes, and people actually laughing and celebrating the murder of a man because he wore a different political jersey. So let that sink in for a second. And I don't think any of this is about Charlie Kirk, the person. And I don't think it's about whether you liked him or hated him or didn't even care. I think it's about the fact that political murder is somehow just another headline nowadays. And we scroll right past it. There is a whole new low for where we could go. And you have a signal, and it's a signal that we, and I do mean we all, crossed into something that is a lot darker than just politics. This right here, what we're seeing, is what happens when violence becomes part of a political conversation. When actual TV networks air over and over clips that encourage people to see the other side, not as neighbors that we might disagree with, but as enemies that need to be destroyed, as the threat to society. And you've seen it, I have no doubt. We all have seen this. People in the media saying these people are a threat, these people are dangerous, maybe some violence is justified. And it's not fringe anymore. This is mainstream. And there are thousands of these clips out there aired to millions of people, kind of nudging, suggesting, maybe planting seeds that maybe a fist, maybe a bullet is a legitimate form of political debate.
What do you make of that? I mean, this is an excellent video, by the way. And he talks about how it's actually very wealthy people, incredibly the elites, who try to show you the worst possible clips. And they tell you have to destroy them. Your livelihood, your life depends on it. How people who are usually like a housewife or a father of four or whatever, like mild-mannered people, turn into this hatred thing because they are conditioned, and this is by the mainstream media and political people. And he's talking that that the people that are doing this are instigating hatred and violence are the people that we have the least in common, because most of us, and the reason why Trump won is because he was talking and appealing to what everybody wants: a home, a safe future, a safe present, to go to school.
Yeah.
To lead a decent life. And this is why the Democrats were so taken aback that Trump won, because he spoke to the people about what the majority of the people need, and that the elites that are stoking this hatred are people that we have nothing in common with, but they want to keep it like that because they're making money off of it. What do you think of that?
It's been this way since Trump first announced. For 10 years, we've had an endless vitriolic rhetoric from the left who talk a good game on tolerance when it suits them, but then spew unmitigated, unending hatred every chance they get. It's painfully obvious to anyone who pays attention. Look at all the stuff that's happened lately when they just had a lukewarm response to it. Every time anyone was murdered on the right, they would just say, oh yeah, but I mean, he does deserve it. Tommy Robinson in the UK is the same. Whenever anyone's attacked him, they would just go, oh yeah, but you shouldn't be racist. He'd talk about the stuff that has happened to his family and his friends, and they'd go, yeah, but you are racist. They make out as if you have different political opinions to them, you deserve to get murdered. Everyone who knows this, who's paid attention. The communist, he was apparently a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. You can call it whatever you want. It's communism. And when you disagree with communists, they murder you. That's just the simple fact of the matter. And it won't stop here. When Trump got killed, right? When Trump got attempted murder and that assassination took a shot at him, At the time, I was at a brewery in Santa Barbara with my brother and my sister-in-law, and my nephew. And that night, we left and we were talking about it. And we got in a taxi, and the Uber driver was a bloke, a white, older guy. And when I said it's shocking what happened to Trump, and he was happily raging with us all sat in his taxi, going, "Oh, I wish he'd hit him. I wish he'd killed that motherfucker." Like, honestly,
You can swear we know this channel is not monetized, so
Yeah.
let's go crazy about this.
That is what they've created. When they tried to kill Trump, they were celebrating it. They're going, "Oh yeah, it's just a shame he missed." Tenacious D, the singer, was on the stage. "Oh, I just wish he'd hit him." There was millions and millions of them glorifying it, and Biden's done it and went, "Those pieces of shit." Newsom was talking the same. The rhetoric from them has been hateful. So in the last decade, they've conditioned and brainwashed tens of millions of people throughout the Western world, not just here, but in Europe and in England and America and everywhere else. And they're communists, and they think if you disagree with their ideology, you don't just disagree with them, you're evil. This has always been the difference. People like Charlie Kirk and myself think that the left are naive and ignorant, and they think that if they can just impose the real communism that's never been tried yet, it'll definitely work next time. We just think they're ignorant and stupid and arrogant and naive, but they think you're evil. If you disagree with them, they think you're evil.
That's the whole thing. But this is the conditioning that Chase is talking about. That you're conditioned to, you don't see them as political opponents. You see them as an enemy, as an evil person, whereby they drive you to hysteria. These uneducated young people, they're manipulating, because this guy is young. The guy that shot Charlie Kirk is young. Yeah. You know, they manipulate them and they drive them to hysteria, whereby not only do you feel, that it's okay to do it, but that is necessary and that is morally justified, because you're killing evil when they compare people to him, like a far right Hitler and stuff like that. And I mean, that goes for anything in life, guys. It's not just here, but listen to what he says, because this is very interesting. I was absolutely blown away by this.
Concrete law of history. It's concrete law. The minute that your ideas require violence to enforce or spread, they're already completely bankrupt. Every tyrant, every failed ideology, every social collapse starts the exact same way. The debate dies, then violence takes the place of debate. And you can't argue with a gun. You can only kill with it. And when killing is the substitute for a conversation, society as a whole starts falling off a cliff. And
I mean, I've seen some of the kids. Have you seen some of the kids on X? But people don't understand, how do we get there? Where is this frenzy coming from? Because these kids really feel, Matt. I've seen some kids, and I've heard some kids here, even in Toronto, cheering. "Oh, he's evil. He said have no sympathy." They take, because like Chase says, they take these extreme clips from either side, left or right, and they show it to the people on the right, or they show it to the people on the left, to I don't know if you can say evil life. I don't know, like to make him evil, how to say it, demonize, or
demonize them. Yeah,
they demonize him. So you feel that they are a threat to your person, to your way of life.
Yeah, no, it's disgraceful. I mean, there's plenty of ways you can combat it, but the problem is the state supports it. This is what I'm telling you. It's obvious. It's more obvious in the UK because they haven't got a Republican president or a Conservative president in charge. But the whole Western world has been consumed by this. The people that the Gramscian scholars and the Marxists and the Saul Alinsky types, they started the long march through the institutions decades ago. Tony Blair ramped it up in the UK. The corridors of power are infested with people who support murdering you if you disagree with them. That is just, that's not my opinion, that's fact. Keir Starmer, the left in the UK, Clinton, Biden, many of them out here, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters.
Her gay husband.
Maxine Waters, when she's like, get in their face at gas stations, they hate them. They don't just disagree with them, they hate them. They've been conditioned and indoctrinated by a public school service that was purposely seeded with radical activists on the left in the 80s and 90s. And I did a video about this myself yesterday.
I saw it.
The student newspaper found that 90% of Harvard faculty were left-wing. Only 2% of them, of 1,100 staff members, only 2% of them identified as conservatives. So they get them young. They've conditioned the teachers. All the high school teachers are communists. All the university, not all of them, they are packed, massively overrepresented by far left, woke academics, communists, radicals, Marxists, whatever you want to call them. They own the faculty in all of the elite universities, Harvard, Yale, Princeton. The numbers are there. All these student journalists have crunched the numbers. If 98% of your educational faculty are hardcore radical activists, what do you think the students are going to turn out like? This kid went to Utah State. He probably was relatively normal when he was 15, and then he spent 6 or 7 years getting brainwashed to say that someone as boring and milquetoast and reasonable as Charlie Kirk is filled with hatred. Thing about this, Stephen King yesterday tweeted out, did you see what Stephen King tweeted out yesterday?
No.
So Stephen King tweeted out yesterday that Charlie Kirk supported stoning people to death, right? This is Stephen King. How many times has he been parroted by the left in the last few years? Because he's a radical activist. And
if you want to share something, you can do that. Please share it, and I'll share it with you here. Just post it like you're sharing, and I'll share it here with you.
There.
Click on share there.
That was Stephen King yesterday. And look, Elon's on there. Why would he post this? He advocated stoning gays to death. Just saying. He didn't. It's an outright lie. People have responded to that tweet online and showed him videos of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was an open, tolerant, living Christian who said, I believe that marriage, this is his own words from watching him give his speeches. I believe in marriage being between a man and a woman. However, gay people, God tells us to love everyone. Gay people should always be welcome in our movement, and I've never supported anyone claiming that someone's lifestyle should be held against them if they want to help the country. Charlie Kirk wasn't pro-gay marriage, but he was pro-gays joining the Republican and the Turning Point movement. So that is just an outright fiction.
If you're a Christian, of course I am not pro-gay marriage, because marriage, I'm sorry, I'm not. I mean, I am going to tell you the truth. I'm not. Marriage is between a man and a woman. That is my Christian belief. I love my gay friends. I love my gay friends. I have so many gay friends. I advocate for their rights. They have a right to, that is a sexual thing. It's like saying that, why do I have to know your sexual preference? It's like your religious preference and stuff like that. That is your sexual preference. Why should I know how you do it in the bedroom? You have human rights. We all have human rights. There shouldn't be a category of us having specific rights. We all have human rights. Everybody should be equal under the law. I absolutely 100% agree with that. But it's the faith. It's just my faith. If you believe in Christ and the Bible, and I mean, that's not only me, the church, the church is focusing that.
So two things for you. One, 90% of Americans thought exactly the same way as you did in 1995 before I started conditioning them all. And secondly, almost everybody who is against gay marriage believes all the same stuff you've just said. J.K. Rowling's a classic example. And here we see, so there's two women there, yourself and J.K. Rowling. The person who murdered Charlie Kirk definitely would shoot you in the head with no remorse.
Absolutely.
And he'd shoot J.K. Rowling in the head with no remorse. And J.K. Rowling, as we all know, is a tolerant, reasonable lefty. She's been a lefty her entire life. She agrees with them on everything. Climate change, abortion, gun control. But because she disagreed with the one aspect, which is what this freak seems to have taken umbrage with, the TERF trans thing, she gets 10,000 death threats a day. There's millions.
But I don't want a guy with a big dick in the locker room when I'm changing my clothes, just because he decided to identify as a woman in order to. It's an unfair competition. It is not right. This is like Riley Gaines said, I saw this debate she was having at Piers Morgan, and there's this woman who blah, 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 it's not fair for the gays. Well, for the trans people. Fine. Trans people, they should have Olympics for transgender people. So it makes it fair for everybody. That big guy who beat the crap out of a woman, they made it legal at the Olympics in France for that Albanian or Armenian, whatever the hell he was from, to punch the Italian woman. She said she had never been hit like that in her life.
Of course, because she's getting punched by a bloke.
And what Tommy Robinson said, did you hear what Tommy Robinson said to Keir Starmer? Said, if Charlie Kirk lived in the United Kingdom, you would have put him in jail long ago.
Definitely. If I lived in the United Kingdom, I'd be in jail. If you want to see a hilarious, something let's lighten the tone a bit regarding the trans thing, right? This thing here that I've just put up there, look at that, right? This is unbelievable. This is
now I want
unbelievable.
Fried Chicken.
These psychopaths, right? You're on about how it's unfair. It's definitely unfair. And what I'm saying is, neither you nor I nor J.K. Rowling is saying trans people should be free. We believe they should be free to live their lives unmolested. It's not a hateful position. We simply say that they shouldn't be given access to women's spaces because it's unfair on women. That's all. Nobody's saying anything worse than that. Here is a reason. Here's a classic. It's one of the best videos I've ever seen. This is only a couple of days ago, of why they shouldn't be in women's spaces. Because watch this, right? This trans, it sounds as if the woman talking to her is black and liberal. But it sounds like she's just accidentally walked into her. And this fella's took it the wrong way. And he's having a bad day. And this is what women face. When the mask drops and the rage comes out, this is why you can't have them in women's spaces. If this was in not a public place and there's only women and girls in there, this lunatic's free to just go off on one and no one in there strong enough to stop him. Because watch what happens here. It's especially hilarious. Well, we'll watch 2 minutes of it. It's especially hilarious because at the beginning, he's like flicking his hair back and affecting feminine movements.
I just want to say something. One of the things that pisses me off the most is how they make a parody of what a woman is. Like, they're all this ridiculous thing. We don't walk like that. We don't do that. I have never, even a very feminine woman, I've never seen act so ridiculous like they portray us to be, like a parody, and it really drives me insane.
So just remember, this is in a public place, outside a grocery store. Imagine what had happened if this was in a girl's changing room at a swimming bath. Watch what happens here.
Ran into me because you're a transphobe and you're having a bad life.
I have trans friends.
So why did you walk into me like that?
You're looking for problems and you're purposely antagonizing me.
Am I?
So I'm going to give you a minute and then I'm going to call the cops. Because you was going in that direction and now you're following me to this location. And I'm going to stand here for 1 minute.
You antagonized me.
Okay, what's your name?
You're a black woman calling a cops on a trans woman. And I just want you to
What's your name?
I want you to think about that.
Okay.
You're a black woman calling the cops
Go ahead.
on a trans woman.
Continue to walk.
And I want you to think about that.
We're at 37 seconds.
I'm going to pray for you.
I'm going to hang.
Because I pray.
I'm going to stop recording at 1 minute and I'm going to call the cops if you're still in my area. I haven't offended you in any way.
You hit me on the sidewalk with your body.
Me.
You hit me.
Honey.
It's not honey anymore, bitch. It's not honey.
Right.
It's not honey, bitch.
Right, and it gets worse.
Go for it, but keep going. Keep going.
A bald man. Look how violent he is.
Just gonna patiently wait for the cops.
Yes, we are.
This is getting.
You're a hypocrite.
It's
you're
getting
a liberal
little bit
hypocrite,
more aggressive.
and you're a bitch. Yeah, I am aggressive. I have PTSD, bitch.
Okay.
You fucked with the wrong tranny today, bitch.
Isn't that amazing? A balding man. So this is what I'm saying to you. The only reason he's on a chain there is because there's blokes around him. There's a guy stood there over his shoulder. The lefty lunatics want him in your changing rooms, in your safe spaces, in a woman's rape crisis shelter, in a woman's only bathroom. And then he brushes mildly against someone and then he goes, it's not babe now, bitch. Like it's psychotic that this is what they want. And the reason I show you that is because that's what I'm saying. We don't have to excuse ourselves. 95% of the public thinks that thing shouldn't be anywhere near a woman's changing room.
No, it shouldn't. Like 99.99% think that. 99.999. The
But
0.1%
if you
are
say
the
the
elite.
opposite, yeah, and if you say the opposite, the woke, the millions and millions of woke lunatics, not only disagree with you, even if you make up the 99%, they think it's fine to kill you. They definitely think it's fine to kill you. They think if you say that, you're filled with hate, you're filled with disgust and vitriol, and therefore you deserve to get shot in the throat in front of your wife and kids. That's what they think. And if they got the chance, they'd kill you, and they'd kill me, and they'd kill Donald Trump, and they'd kill every single person who disagrees with them. When does the bloodlust get satiated by communists? There's a reason why Mao killed 80 million people. And Trump said, well, he's just in the way. He said, they're coming for you and I'm just in the way. And that never has there been a truer word spoken.
And the thing is, though, that at what point, I mean, if you really, and this is one of the things that I just want to show, because this guy, I'm going to show you this because I think that he basically sums up what I'm trying to say here, because I mean, this guy is very eloquent.
Blasted in your face 24/7. You're not being shown your neighbor or your coworker or the mom next door who votes differently. You're being shown a bunch of professional lunatics that are handpicked to make you think one thing. And the one big thing that they want you to think is, oh my God, these people are insane. They are the enemy. That's the reason that we're going downhill. And none of this is an accident. This is word for word textbook psychological operations. And military psyops manuals literally describe how you isolate a target audience, then you pump them full of a bunch of outrage, you create a tribal us versus them identity. This is straight out of a psyops textbook. So why would we want to do this? Or why would psyops want to do this? Because once you're locked into tribal thinking, you're going to swallow anything. You're going to believe any lie about the other side. You're going to cheer when other people suffer. You'll excuse things that you would never excuse in your own neighborhood if you watched it right in front of you and it was one.
I mean, what do you think of this? At this point, because if you really whittle it down to what Charlie Kirk believed in, don't have men in women's safe spaces. Men don't belong in women's sports. He believed in Christ, in family unit, and people succeeding. He was, I don't understand, and I'm not, I may not have agreed with him in a lot of things, but I agree with him in quite a lot, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to grab a gun and I'm going to shoot somebody because he thinks differently than me. And people don't understand that. People, you know, like my son got a bunch of letters sent that they were going to come and kill him, that they were going to cut his body up, and then they were going to spread the remains all over Toronto for me to find like a fun little puzzle. And this is just because I speak about Meghan Markle and the king, and, you know, I have different opinions or I want to question things. And this is just from a stupid topic.
Yeah.
You know, and not only people from Sussex Squad, but from the Mexican community. You know, it's like they want you to think in a way, you cannot have this person in your channel. You cannot do this. How dare you? It's a culture of how dare you have this trying to enforce upon you, who you should talk, what you should think, who you should socialize with. And if you don't, you got to be shot down and killed. Like we saw Charlie Kirk. That's literally it.
Disgraceful. We're in for a fight of our lives, and I think people like you and me have been saying this for years and years. It was obvious. It was obvious in 2017, 2018, after a couple of years of rhetoric by the loonies, that the people were just getting filled with hatred for anyone who disagreed with them. Most of it does come from the left, a little bit on the right, but I mean, only your Baptist shrieking sort of evangelical preachers or something. 99% of it's from the loony left, and everyone knows it who's been paying attention. The problem is, the real issue is what that guy said, and it is totally accurate. It's what's happened in the UK. They're using the military against the populace. That's what's really going on. In the UK, they're called 77th Brigade. There's a military PSYOPs brigade called 77th Brigade. And the British government, being totally shameless, used them against the British public. So that's what they're going to be doing. Definitely they'll have done it under Biden. If you never heard of them, you can. I'll share that with you.
Yeah, you can do that, please. I like that.
77th Brigade. Look, so this is what the governments of the Western world do now. 77th Brigade famously is an army information operations and psychological warfare formation. And if you go down here, it says recruitment and training, how they operate. They work out of the donut, which is like our version of the Pentagon. They're purposely created to indoctrinate and brainwash people. And if you go down to 2014 present, which is when we've got into this evil era, it even says here, look, it says in 2019, Laurie Clark in Wired described this brigade as a psychological operations unit responsible for non-lethal warfare that reportedly uses social media to control the narrative, as well as disseminating UK government-friendly podcasts and videos. So this is the official version of what that gentleman's just been saying. The governments in the West now use their own military against their people. And they use military-grade psychological conditioning to control the narrative and disseminate propaganda friendly to the government. And this is what we've been a victim of. So you almost can't blame them. This is what I'm saying. This kid who shot Charlie Kirk, it's only partially his fault. Because you had weaponized propaganda to brainwash.
That's exactly what Chase says, that the people have become weapons. And this is what, not the right, left, or the right wing. This is an elite group of people who want to present it as left against right. But it's actually an elite group of people who just want to keep discourse. And he said a very good point. Like when somebody has... Charlie Kirk did not get killed because he has different opinions, but because his opinions matter, and he was changing the discourse, the conversation to, or pointing the conversation to an area that they don't want it to be, like JFK, like Dr. King. You know, like people who get killed, they get killed, guys, not because what they're speaking is shit, but because what they're speaking it's opening people's eyes, and people are like, wait a minute, people are pausing and thinking.
Yeah.
You know, you don't kill an idiot and just blabbing thing. You attack people. You're attacking. You're trying to take down that person because their ideals, their conversation is pretty much spot on, and it's dangerous to a certain type of group of people who are very much in power. And if you think about it, what do you think is going to happen when you have people like Nancy Pelosi saying that Trump is like Hitler? We associate Hitler to the worst possible murder in history. 6 million people lost their lives in the most horrific way. So when you say that Trump is Hitler or that Charlie Kirk is Hitler, people are going to say, hey, I'm going to be justified. We need to take this guy down.
Yeah.
You know, and Keir Starmer. Now, did you see Keir Starmer with that ambassador, with the UK ambassador to the US?
Yeah, yeah. It's well, he's a creature. That Mandelson's a total creature. He's one of the ones who ushered in the Blair era and purposely sent out search parties for hostile illegal immigrants. I believe Charlie would have been president one day. He was a really good speaker. He was clever.
Oh yeah. And he had very good, he had ideals. That's what I like, you know, and he wasn't a fanatic or anything because he started questioning Israel too, you know?
Yeah.
Because I find, you know, and I did my video today about Meghan and stuff like that, but I find it was actually a generalized thing, and I actually based it on Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk criticized Oprah. Oh, yeah. Have you seen this about Charlie Kirk? I don't know if the audience has seen this about Charlie Kirk. Because it's this is when he was talking about Meghan Markle and Oprah, but he was mostly upset about Oprah, you know, because and I'll show you this so you can give me some because I mean this guy
believing in Oprah.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Feel sorry for her. Now, what bothers me the most about all this is actually not Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. We know Prince Harry is a metrosexual beta male and he is lacking in almost all testosterone. And we know that Meghan Markle is a tradition-destroying leftist who's self-indulgent. We know that. That's not exactly breaking news. What bothers me the most is the third person in this interview. That's what bothers me. What bothers me is Oprah. Oprah has lived the American dream. Oprah started from nothing, less than nothing. Oprah has gone through some legitimate trials in her life. She worked harder than any other television host throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Oprah had some of the most consequential interviews of the last 25 years. Oprah is a billionaire Black woman. Oprah was always about self-improvement, independence, empowerment, rising above your circumstances, being a victor, not a victim. Oprah had an entire following of mostly suburban women believing in themselves, believing in the idea of applied action. And yes, Black American women followed her in huge numbers. She was leading a charge of trying to say that there might be troubles around you, work harder, play by the rules. She had Harpo Productions. Oprah has a place, woman in the world. Oprah has a place everywhere. She is the richest Black woman in the world. And yet I have to go watch Oprah Winfrey even tolerate, even entertain this idea that racism exists as a barrier to human success. Only in America is it possible for Oprah Winfrey to succeed.
Absolutely. What do you think of that? I mean, this is, I mean, and you know when I think things started to go wrong, when Obama signed that bill because up till Obama, the government was not allowed to publish propaganda. And Obama did away with that. Yeah. And then the government became propagandists. Can you say that?
Propagandists.
Propagandists, yes. Yeah. So it became that. Now you have people and the government is literally can gaslight the fuck out of us.
I know. Like, you know what? I liked Obama back in the day. It just shows how much the world's changed. I was naive. I liked him back in 2015. I thought he was all right, but I thought he was like a moderate. But it turns out he was just like Tony Blair. Tony Blair was the same. That's why they won landslides, because they're cunning and manipulative and devious. They don't wear the heart on the sleeve like Charlie Kirk does. Even Trump, I mean, he does tell lies. All politicians do, but Trump sort of is quite honest. He just like blurts out what's on his mind. That's why he's not the most eloquent person. But Obama and Blair were on another level of just devious Machiavellian sneaking around. And Obama did. He was working off the Saul Alinsky playbook, ushering in this age. This is when the genesis of it really started in the States under Obama, making it acceptable to disseminate propaganda and then turning liberal. This is why we're in so much trouble. This is what I'm saying. You can see by the response to Charlie Kirk's savage murder that there's tens of millions of these people out there, millions of them, because they've been brainwashed for 25 years.
This is like people like Nancy Pelosi, and they hide it under social justice. That's the worst part. Like he says, that they feel justified that it's like the self-defense thing.
I know, and you know what I mean. I said this a long time ago, and it's very apt at the height of the pandemic, because I was saying at the time, that's when I first started my channel, because I was so angry I'm locked in my house. I'm like, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
They think these myopic scumbags that run the world now, they're only interested in short-term power. People like me have said this for years. The old adage about planting trees whose shade you'll never sit in, that's gone. That's why none of them ever pay the debt off, even Trump, because they're interested in their own short-term power. So they don't want to say, listen, I'm going to raise taxes on everyone, but we're going to pay this debt off so our children won't have to bear the burden. If anyone says that, they won't get elected. So every politician kicks the can down the road and they all just keep adding to the debt. This is the problem. Nobody builds for the future. They're interested in short-term power. And they'll use any tactics, propaganda, to achieve the short-term goals. And propagandizing the public is proven what goes wrong with what happened during COVID. Because during COVID, we were saying, you're propagandizing the public, you're using the government, you're using the military to tell people, oh, don't be a granny killer, wear the mask, stay 6 feet away from people, don't go out if you don't need to, you're following them with drones when they go out hiking. They're doing all this stuff. And then a year later, they think they can stuff the genie back in the bottle and they want to send everyone back to work. And they go, whoa, this is weird. Why do 1 in 4 people not want to go back to work? This is weird. Why is everyone agoraphobic? Why is everybody mentally ill? Why is the economy collapsing? Why doesn't anybody want to go to a bar or a restaurant or a nightclub or a grocery store? Because they condition people. They spent years conditioning people, and then they want to stuff the genie back in the bottle, and it doesn't work that way. So these scumbags like Obama and Biden and in the UK spent a decade brainwashing people for their own short-term success. If we convince them that our political opponents are pure evil, they'll definitely vote for us. And they didn't stop to think of the long-term consequences of teaching 50 million people that anyone who disagrees with you slightly is evil and deserves to get murdered. So this is where we are. There are millions of people who are that far away, who are one bad day away from grabbing a bolt-action rifle and trying to shoot you in the throat in front of a crowd. This is
just
where
because
we
we don't agree. This is where you don't agree. This is like they think that a bullet, or they feel entitled and justified. That is the worst part of it all. And then what we have is people like Nancy Pelosi or these politicians who've been shoving that narrative down young kids' throats for years, being completely blameless, like that AOC woman or Keir Starmer, these Islamic people who are raping 5-year-olds in the UK, or, I mean, when is it going to end? And I think it's up to us to do that. People are starting to, I think that with Charlie Kirk's death, hopefully there is a before and after. What do you think is going to happen to this kid? Because Trump said, do you think that he is, that from what we've seen, and Trump called for him to be killed? Do you think that Trump should really actually use it for, rather than just killing the boy, investigating why he feels that way and actually holding people like Nancy Pelosi accountable for their rhetoric?
Well, they won't kill him. No, they can't now. They can't, because if they did, it'd go back on that ancient sort of American tradition that they go easy on you. If you tie how like in the movies, they always flip them. They say, if you tell us where the drug dealer is, we'll let you off with your sentence and all stuff like that. It'll violate that ancient tradition, and they can't do that because then it'll disincentivize every criminal in the country to not play the game. The fact that he handed himself in, I would assume now negates the death penalty. So he'll probably get life without parole, which will annoy people because, people want justice.
But Trump has called for the death penalty on the boy.
I know, but generally if you hand yourself in, you don't get it, do you? You get the death penalty if you elude the authorities. If you hand yourself in peacefully, don't think to do it. You know what I mean? Think about it. If you just murder someone, you walk into the police station, say, hey, everyone, I want to hand myself in. It says
here how it happened. Last night, one of Robinson's family members reached out to a family friend who then contacted authorities with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. The murder. This is CNN. Of course, they don't want to call it the murder, right? They call it that he had committed the incident. How the fuck can you commit an incident? Can you please fucking explain this to me? Because it really enrages me that left-wing media, like when it was George Floyd, the policeman was trying to tell the guy, don't fucking move. They didn't want to make any excuses for the fact that the policemen are stressed. I can tell you my cousins are policemen, and they tell me that they are just as scared, if not more, about apprehending a guy, because especially George Floyd, who had violent prior arrests and convictions. And the police, they said, my cousins, they go out, they don't know if they're going to come back. And when you're trying to arrest somebody who's resisting the arrest, you want to do it quickly. You don't want be waiting for hours and arguing with this guy for hours. And the guy was high. Nobody wanted to make any concessions for that. Now with this black guy who killed that girl, and he said it twice, I got that white girl, Yeah. It's like, oh, he was mentally ill. There's always an excuse. I am just so fed up of all of this. I mean, how many people must die? And CNN calling it an incident. They were calling it the worst things. They burnt down cities over a criminal like George Floyd.
No, well, it's time to take action. And like I said, I've got ideas. I made a video about it. I've got ideas. There's plenty of things we can do. But it's time for the gloves to come off. It's time for the gloves to come off. Every single actionable item they find on social media needs to get actioned on. They should send teams of feds to all the Ivy League universities, all the professors who have brainwashed, indoctrinated, gloated about murder, promoted the killing of President Trump. Every single one of them should be rounded up, ruthlessly interrogated, have the hard drives searched, and if there's anything actionable, lock them up. Start there. Pull all the federal funding from all the universities that promote murder, wokeism, communist ideology. Stop the federal funding, fire all the faculty who support this type of behaviour. Start to smash them. Smash the extremists. It's not that controversial smashing the extremists, but Trump's too nice. He is too nice as well. Why didn't lock Hillary Clinton up? Everyone said this. He's almost too easygoing. It's time to crush them. There should be a few thousand people in jail cells by this time next week. People who've promoted murder. They're all over social media. Go and get them. Go and round them up. If they need any ideas, come and send me. I'll send them a list.
And you know that the judge that allowed the Carlos Brown to get out of jail or not spend the night in jail. You don't need to be a lawyer nor have college university degrees or anything like that. This judge that allowed the Carlos Brown, the guy that stabbed Irina.
Yeah,
She's not even a lawyer or anything.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous.
Isn't that insane, guys? So we're living in a world that I cannot imagine, because I think that his little girls were there, present with his wife.
They were.
And I've been trying to think about this all night. It only takes a few lunatics, guys. And unfortunately, in the United States, there are quite a few of them, or kids that are mentally weak and they believe anything. If you feed a narrative for a long time, I hope they investigate his parents, because, everything starts at home, unfortunately, and because a man lost. And did you see what he put in the bullets?
Yeah, eat this fascist. Stuff like that.
And some ciao bella, ciao, something like that also.
Yeah, just commie gibberish, yeah. Suck on this fascist or whatever it was. Yeah, they're all mentally ill. They've been conditioned by professors, university lecturers, writers, academics, social media activists. Hassan Piker, he should be in jail.
Yeah.
Who else? Destiny, he should be in jail.
Yeah.
If you or I had said anything even remotely as hateful as the stuff Hassan Piker and Destiny get away with saying on a daily basis, we would have been pulled across the coals. But there's been different rules for the right and the left. If we'd have said anything anywhere near it, they would have deleted my YouTube channel 3 years ago.
Oh, God.
They get away with it. So the gloves come off, round them up, start asking hard questions, find the people that have made this happen and prosecute them all. Start with the civil servants, the Department of Justice, the activist lawyers, Alvin Bragg. You look deep enough into all these people's backgrounds and you'll find something.
It is.
Stop playing ball.
I cannot imagine his poor wife, his father, his mother.
Shocking.
And his daughters, if his daughters were present, I know that they're small, but still, darn.
Hopefully they're young enough where they'll forget that. It was shocking.
Yeah, but can you imagine that? He's just expressing an opinion in a non-violent way.
He was eminently reasonable. He was far, far more reasonable and civilized than I am.
Or you or me.
So there you go. I know.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, for coming. And we're going to be joining me more here. And I want to do the next live. I'm going to do another live about Irina. And I also want to do a live about Brigitte and all those trans people and stuff like that. But I really feel bad for Charlie, such a young man. He was going to be 32 in October with 2 young children, his whole life ahead. And he was murdered just so. I think that his murder highlights the extremes that we're in right now. And I think there's a before and after. What do you think about this? Do you think that now with this Charlie Kirk, there's an after?
I think it gets worse before it gets better. There's millions of them out there. There's millions of them out there who've been conditioned to hate, and they want to kill you. They want to kill me, and they told us this, and they're happy to tell us that they want to kill us. And Trump said so. He said they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. It gets much worse before it gets better. I think that the Americans' dogmatic grip in total freedom of speech means that they're going to allow them to keep getting away with this. But they'll keep killing. They're going to kill more. There's millions of them out there. You got to have a stiff upper lip and just accept the fact that it's going to happen. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
That's absolutely horrible. I hope I was hoping that this would be a before and after because it's such a troubling thing. And I think Trump sent the Air Force One to pick his body.
Yeah, did the millions and millions of woke soy boys on social media singing and dancing and partying and celebrating this callous murder, did that not make you realise that we're nowhere near the end game here? There's
And
millions
TMZ,
of them out
did
there.
you see TMZ? TMZ got caught. You know,
Yeah.
when they came out and they apologized, I thought, oh, there was a car chase. But, you know, this is why I'm always saying the internet is always going to get them, because immediately people debunk that because the car chase happened half an hour later.
Yeah. Oh, they're just liars. It's shocking. So
You
yeah,
know?
we're in a bad spot. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I guarantee you that. So keep your eyes peeled and your fingers crossed. And yeah, we'll deal with it. We always do. That old English lady could smile when she was sitting amongst the rubble of her house during the Blitz. I'm sure we can carry on regardless.
Yeah. Just like the Queen said, you know, just keep going.
Exactly.
Thank you so very much.
Thanks, Paula. I'll see you soon.
Bye. See you, sweetie. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, please let me know your thoughts and opinions. I personally, please go subscribe to Matt's The Angry Bootnik. I will leave his channel in the video description. I personally hope that there is a before and after Charlie Kirk's death, because just like he said at the beginning of this life, he wants to be remembered for his faith in Jesus and Christ and do impossible things. And people have taken his words out of context in many, many things in order to demonize him. So let's hope that we go back to being able to debate, having different opinions in whatever side of the spectrum you sit. But it would be nice, you know, to have and chat and laugh about it and debate about it, rather than I hate you. You said this, I hate you, or this and that. It would be great to say, you know what, I disagree, but I like you. Or you know what, let's talk about it. See if you can convince me or I can convince you. If not, you know, let's agree to disagree, but still be friends. Where has that gone? I sure hope we can get back to that, because what we just saw with Charlie Kirk, do you really feel that he deserved that? For thinking differently or for having different opinions? Were his opinions really that offensive? You let me know. Thank you for watching, beautiful people, and you have a great day.